Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an upcoming very cold pattern. We're going to be taking a look at the ongoing snowstorm that's going to be happening today through tonight. We're also going to be taking a look at multiple other snowstorm chances for the eastern United States coming up in just a moment. Anyways, before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that we've already seen our biggest snowstorm of January? That'd be pretty surprising. Or do you think that we are still going to have more on the way with the next little bit of January we have left? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery here, and you can see that for the northwestern United States in through the mountainous regions out there in the Rockies, we do have some snowfall coming down for spots, especially up here in the northern plains and then those Rockies like I was mentioning before, this little region here. We do have some precipitation up here for the Pacific Northwest, but it's pretty marginal at this point. You can tell that a lot of the energy here in the United States is actually located here near the Gulf and then here along the eastern seaboard. This is that front that we've seen pass through. We saw quite a bit of snowfall take place here in southeastern Virginia, I guess, northeastern North Carolina. These regions in here, even the further north and west you go in this region, there was more and more accumulation that took place actually with that, a dusting to maybe about an inch depending on where you're at. So for a front, that was actually pretty intense. Now what we're going to see is we're going to see a low pressure system develop kind of along this front. And then that's what's going to bring even more snowfall for these regions, and then even some freezing rain down here for the kind of southern regions of North Carolina and then the northeastern regions of South Carolina as well, as we're going to be looking for those icy impacts. Now let's move up here to the northeastern United States quickly. And as you can see, we do have a lot of this snowfall taking place, like I mentioned before here, for the northern plains and through the Rockies. Multiple states included here. We can see Montana, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, and even North Dakota there involved with this snowfall. And we do have some precipitation there for Washington and Oregon as well. So a lot of the West right now is having some spotty precipitation. We see this time and time again, actually, these kind of spotty storms up there. It's really interesting how different the weather is in those regions of the United States. Now, this pocket of snowfall here that I'm watching play out actually is likely accumulating a bit here. We've seen a lot of these systems pass through this region over the past month or so, bringing minimal accumulations. But once you've seen 5 or 10 of those in a month, you know, it starts to add up, obviously. Now, let's take a look down here at some of this energy that we're taking a look at here in the southern United States or southeastern United States more specifically. And as I'm looking, look at that. You see that? That snowfall right there taking place for southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, and southern Louisiana, even the panhandle of Florida. Very interesting there to see that take place, and quite rare as well to see that. Now, we are seeing also some sleet and freezing rain here for the very southern tip there of Texas, as you can see, even reaching the Mexico border. I'm pretty sure that's also extremely rare. And outside of that, I mean, where it's not snowing or freezing rain or sleet, we are seeing very heavy precipitation. And it's this energy that's going to make its way really offshore throughout the day today and into the night. And that's what's eventually going to bring our winter storm up here for portions of the northern southeast, I would say, and portions of the mid-Atlantic. There you can see some lingering remnants there of that cold front that brought some snowfall. There it is. You can see the heavier amounts coming down in these regions at the very beginning of our radar imagery there. And that is that snowfall that did bring some dusting amounts to even an inch or so for some certain regions there. Now you can see this front has passed through and it's going to make its way to about this far out. And that's where the low pressure system is going to kind of just track along it. And that's what's going to bring some of this snowfall for this region, like I mentioned before, freezing rain to the south of it. So we're going to see that on the model guidance, and we're going to be watching for that as we move through with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to that modeled guidance. We're going to take a little bit of a look at this ongoing storm, but I really want to talk about the temperature pattern overall and then some of the storms that we can expect coming up over the next 10 days or so. All right, now here we are taking a look at our European model. We're going to play this out a little bit in a minute, but we can see that the overall pattern, we can see a bit of a trough there, but a huge ridge, and then just kind of a weird jet stream pattern there that we're seeing, and this is what's allowing for this snowfall to take place for these regions, especially in there actually, but really in here where this snowstorm is going to be happening later this evening. Now, quickly, let's take a look at this ongoing snowstorm, and then I want to move on from it pretty quickly, actually. So we will take a look. What's going to be a good model to take a look at today? I guess we'll take a look at our 3km NAM model. So we see that this is a very, very high resolution model. We do see some snowfall kind of creeping back into these snowfall regions and here trying to get going. And this is going to be approximately late afternoon, evening. That has some chance of happening, but really we see the amounts start to increase further as we get further into the day here. And you can see that this is going to be kind of heading into the overnight hours. It's heading into Saturday, very, very early on Saturday morning. We see this moderate to heavy snowfall developing here. You can see there is sleet just to the south here. This model does tend to do a little bit. It seems to be a little bit aggressive with these mixed precipitation sometimes at times, but for northeastern North Carolina, that could be an issue at this point at times, according to this model. But that recedes south over time. Now, by time we're looking at about 4 or 5 a.m., this is going to be the heart of this storm. We see the heavy snowfall coming down for all of these regions, portions of North Carolina, and even in through southeastern Virginia here. We are seeing accumulating moderate to heavy snowfall coming down by that point. Now, this will pretty much be coming to a close by the time we're taking a look at 8, 9 a.m. Tomorrow, and that's going to be Saturday, January 22nd here, as you can see. So tomorrow from the time I'm making this video, and likely from the time you're watching this video. There might be some lingering snow showers, but by the time we're reaching the early afternoon, those should be coming to a close. This will be about 2 p.m. or so tomorrow, like I said, and that's going to be kind of the last of it, as the low pressure system is all the way out here, kind of heading out to sea. So let's take a look at the snowfall totals real quickly. It seems like a safe bet is going to be widespread 2 to 4 inches kind of throughout some of these regions in here. 2 to 4 inches, maybe creeping into kind of the 4 to 6 inch amounts here. Right here for the south side of Hampton Roads, maybe some of these regions up here, maybe, Newport News, Hampton areas, even some of the southern eastern shore there as well. And then even some of the northern regions of northeastern North Carolina also going to get involved in those highest amounts. And then it's really hard to pinpoint where it will be in there, the bullseye. But it's safe to say that it probably will be over 4 inches. It might not be. This might be more like a 2 to 4 inch system, not looking like a major snowstorm any longer, more of a moderate snowstorm at best, but definitely a decent one for these regions, obviously. Maybe 3 to 6 would be even more of a conservative guess for that bullseye in there. Mostly these models have indicated that northern Virginia Beach, kind of right there near downtown Norfolk, would be the absolute bullseye, but obviously they cannot be perfect on like a, pinpointing exactly where it's going to be. It can be 5 miles, away in any direction for sure, or even further in some cases. So it's hard to pinpoint it to that specific, but that is what we're taking a look at here on this specific model this time around. If you're in the grays, you're at about a dusting to maybe about an inch, and then the lighter blues are going to be more of your 1 to 3 inch amounts. So those darker blues, again, like I said, that is more like the 2 to 4, and then the very, very dark blues is maybe 4 or 5 at points, and then the purple is where we have the highest chance of being more in that 6 to 8 type range. But I am skeptical if anywhere we'll end up seeing those amounts at this point. Until the 12Z model comes out, the 12Z model guidance, it's tough to say. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on and talk about some longer range things, some more national things here is what we're going to do. So let's switch back to our precipitation type here on the European model. We see the storm pass by. Again, you can see where the low pressure system is. And then that storm is going to be all said and done by the time we're taking a look at later on Saturday. Clearly, the jet stream is just diving into the eastern United States. We have a massive trough here. This storm is going to give way to really cold temperatures overall. And when we take a look at these temperature anomalies, let me pull this up real quick. We can see that obviously there is some warmer temperatures out west. It's not too bad, but there is just some warmer temperatures out west. But mostly a lot of the cold is here in the eastern United States. These green areas here, mostly along the eastern and the Gulf seaboards there, is going to be your 10 to 15 degrees below normal. So that's obviously a pretty significant departure from what's typical. And it's only really going to get worse here for a lot of regions. Again, the warmest temperatures seem to be right in here. There's like a ridge set up over the west. It's bringing mostly the warmest compared to normal temperatures for this region. But now we can see there's obviously a trough centered over the east still, and this is by Monday, December 24th. We're taking a look at 10 to 15 degrees below normal there in the greens, but we even see these blues, which is 15 to 25 degrees below normal, and even some of these reds up here showing up for Pennsylvania, Ohio, maybe even a bit of New York there. That is 25 and even more degrees below normal. So that is obviously very, very significant. And over time, we're going to kind of see this stick around a little bit. So this is later into the day, Monday. We get a brief kind of mild period there, maybe Tuesday morning, a little bit of some mild temperatures, but it gets even worse by the time we're reaching kind of later on the day on Wednesday. Here we could see even more widespread with those magentas there, which again is 25 degrees or more below normal. Even more widespread with these blues in here as well. Very widespread. I'd say about 50% of the eastern United States is in at least 15 to 25 degrees below normal. And then the greens is pretty much for everybody, which is our 10 to 15 degrees below normal, which is already significant. So we are taking a look at a very, very cold pattern all the way basically until we reach almost the end of January, or yeah, pretty much to the end of January, because it's January 30th, and you can tell things haven't really, warmed up very significantly at all here. We still see very cold temperatures in the eastern United States, warm temperatures in the central United States, and then obviously once we reach hours 240, which is what we're taking a look at here, it's going to be really, really tough to say at all what's going to be happening that far out. So let's backtrack and just take a look at some storm chances throughout this time period. So we get our one storm that's obviously going to happen here, and then we get multiple clippers. Sorry about that. Let me get that off the screen. What is going on here? Okay, here we go. So we have one clipper here, another clipper here. We've seen a lot of clippers this year, if you've noticed. So that's 2 on screen right now. Very, very minor snowstorms bringing 1, maybe 2 or 3 inches of snowfall. Now these couple are more major, but we still have 2 there. Again, maybe 1 to 3 inches of snowfall with these. Now what's interesting is we get into kind of this pattern here on this frame. This is going to be about very early on Tuesday, January 25th. We do have a low pressure system down here, and this might try to kind of meet up with this jet stream and do something in this region. We're going to have to watch for that. Let's see what it does on this model. Yeah, so we see this does bring some snowfall. They do end up kind of combining those jet streams. So what's happening here, we see obviously our northern jet is here. You follow these blue lines. The northern jet is located just like that. And probably our subtropical jet is something like this by this point. It might even be mostly coming up from these regions, but it is meeting up with it here. Now, if you do pay attention to the models, this might bore some of you, but I'm going to show you guys an easy way to kind of see this. Now, if we go to, let's see if I can find it here. Here we go. Yeah, so this is kind of going to be our northern jet here. You can see it on these winds. This is our 300 millibar height wind speed, and then we see this southern jet come in here. So you see they kind of meet up in here. We see the greens and the oranges all together here. That is where there is some sort of combination going on there. Now I would have to scroll down my screen to get any higher in the atmosphere. So some of you might be wondering why I went with 300 millibars instead of 200. That's why, because I didn't want to scroll down my screen and mess up my video. So there you go. Anyway, let's continue on with some of these storms. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. So that could be something around the 25th time frame we will be watching in this region. Now we remain, obviously you saw that on the temperature anomalies, but we remain in a very cold pattern even beyond this point. Now there is an interesting frame here, and the GFS this is the storm the GFS has been trending at, potentially being a big snowstorm at points. It's out here on this model run, which won't be close enough, but if this is just a little bit closer to that jet stream, you're taking a look at a major snowstorm somewhere along the eastern seaboard in here with that storm. So this is an interesting signal right here. This is going to be kind of Friday into Saturday. So next weekend, there is an interesting setup here that could potentially lead to something. Again, we're seeing the northern jet here and then the southern jet somewhere through here. It's just not meeting up fully in here. But if we get some sort of combination where they end up going exactly in the same spot somewhere in here, that's where we will see magic happen in this region potentially. And that's if we see the perfect, meet up there. We do see this low pressure system try to come back actually a little bit here by Saturday into Sunday. A little bit of snowfall showing up there. So this isn't too far from a hit, but it really just isn't able to fully meet up with that northern jet stream. And by the time we reach the end of this model run, heading into Sunday into Monday on January 31st. We can see we are still in a cold in the east pattern. There is some storminess going on out west, though, here. Potentially more storms heading into the region at the end of the model run. Again, I talked about in yesterday's video how we're going to get kind of into a quiet period for the western United States, but at the end of these model runs, we've been kind of trending at getting back into an active pattern. So expect about 5 to 7 days of some quiet, as far as storminess goes, some quiet periods of time, but it does look like activity will return kind of towards the very, very end of January heading into February. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. For today's confidence tab, we are at a 4 out of 6. Today, I'm not even upgrading to a 6 or a 5 with this storm. There's still some models that disagree with the current ongoing snowstorm, so the models are struggling big time. I don't feel any more confident than a 4 out of 6, quite frankly, so I think it's a very appropriate place to be for today's video. Now, I forgot to pick a comment of the day. I apologize, guys. It's a little too late for me to pick one. I literally have never forgotten to do that, but today I did, so I apologize if you left a comment. I am not going to forget tomorrow. So for today's Patron Highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Way, Dovey Nagel, Larry the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Catbite, Charles Tennant, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Colisi also. I would also thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Finn, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.